Welcome back to AFTV, guys. Arsenal have lost 2-1 to Brighton at home. It doesn't, in terms of numbers and facts, end the race for top four, but it all but does, let's be real. Tottenham are playing in 2 minutes away at Villa. It's not that it doesn't matter. If they lose, then what does it do? It keeps us hanging in by a thread. I think the bigger point is, I'm not even joking when I say I can actually hear seagulls outside, and we've just lost to Brighton. That's unbelievable. If we're going to keep an eye on the Spurs result, because if they obviously drop points or lose or whatever, it leaves Arsenal, hanging in by a thread. But I think the bigger point is that if Arsenal were to, when you lose games, I want to say there's kind of like a way to lose, and I know it's a real cliche, but if you lose having had 30 shots on goal, you peppered them, their keeper played a blinder, you're missing some key players, and for whatever reason, football is just one of those sports, and you lose. Let's say we lost 1-0 to that Mwepu strike, and you're thinking great finish, great goal, then that's kind of one thing. But Arsenal for 87 minutes of that game were appalling. Like really, really bad. A lot of it self-inflicted, I have to say. A lot of it you can look at Mikel Arteta. Now, I'm aware there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to defend Mikel Arteta in the comment section, and that's fine. So let me just start by saying we're in a top four race, in part because of the good work he's done and the squad building that a lot of us were unsure about in the summer, leading to us being in a better position than perhaps we expected. That's not saying that that's in keeping with Arsenal standards, but for where people expected this team to finish, we were in a better position. So great. Cool. Arteta did well there. He put us in a position we weren't expecting. But at the same time, it's only such a big jump and improvement because of also how far backwards the club went. One of those years was under him. And today you've got to look at him. You've got to look at some of the decisions he made, not just before the game with the 11, but in-game to change it as well. I think he had an absolute shocker today, Arteta. I think he had an absolute shocker. So we'll talk about him. We'll talk about the players individually. We'll talk about where it leaves us for top four. We'll keep up with Spurs' result. We'll be live for the next hour or so we'll be able to follow most of their first half. And then, of course, you guys will be sending your videos in. The number does appear on the bottom right of the screen around here. Look out for it. Check it out. Send in your videos because we want to know your thoughts. Here it is on screen right now, right there. Send us your videos. Send us your thoughts. We'll go sort of point by point. And hopefully we're going to get some guests on as well to discuss it with us and have a real back and forth and break this one down. It's not going to be fun, but it needs to be done because we enjoy it when we win. And we need to... we need to do the post-mortem when we lose. So, we've got some clips ready. We've got some videos ready. Maybe not quite yet. If we just go through some comments. Tambi says this one is on Arteta. Jay asking, is Aubameyang still the problem? Bloody hell. Mohammed saying he wants Vieira in. What else have we got? Christopher says, why is Arteta so obsessed with Xhaka? Someone said I look pale. I've just been to Thailand. It was really hot. Thanks, guys. Daniel says Arteta out. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear that now. Reload says Spurs are going to destroy Villa. Vondra wondering why Saka didn't play as a left back. What else have we got? James saying Lacazette is a great defensive midfielder. I mean, I've got to say, he really didn't offer any pressure up front today, did he? We've got some clips, got the first thoughts. Let's hear what people are saying.
AFTV is Jay from Australia. I must say, another disappointment has added up in the same week for us. We lost 2-1 to Brighton today at home in the Emirates. That consolation goal from Odegaard was a good goal, but it doesn't count to anything. I see only he's the only one who looks disappointed in the end from the highlight series, from the match series, but I don't know, people just walking off, Arteta clapping away. That doesn't add up to anything. We have good players who are out on loan, either on the bench. I think it's time we start changing a few things. Bring back Leno into goal. I can't hope on Ramsdale anymore. I'm sorry. He came down from the championship. We need Leno back. I don't care. Arteta should start considering. Otherwise, we all will be protesting to get him sacked, to get the ownership out. Because top to bottom, everything is rotten in this club. Cheers, guys.
Here we are again, bro. One more night, one more game. Bro, I've been an Arsenal fan supporter since God knows when. I work in Iraq, you know what I mean? I'm from Jamaica, I live in the US. This right here, them guys should be ashamed of themselves. They guys should be ashamed of their fucking self, if I could say that, because man, you lost today, bro. Like, okay, we're coming behind from that 3-0 loss from Crystal Palace. Okay, I get it. All right, but bro, there's no goddamn way we should have lost that game tonight. It was wide open for the taking, and yet still one more time again, we failed to deliver. It's just a joke. We don't want top four. As a matter of fact, I don't think we deserve top four, to tell you the truth, because we're not a top four contending team right now. And as far as I see it, as for Europe and shit goes, forget it. Forget it, bro. Forget it. It's just a joke, man. It's a joke. I know we have the injuries and all that kind of stuff, but when are we going to actually, when are the players going to actually step in and do what they need to do? All right, yeah, we hold the coach all. I didn't believe in that damn lineup to begin with, because you have a young player on it. Yes, we know Nuno Tavares make mistakes and all that kind of stuff, but bro, push him, man. Push him. You change up the midfield, and exactly right there's where they capitalized the first goal off. And we didn't play like we even want the game to begin with. It's just a joke, man. Point blank period, a joke.
Terrible game for Arsenal. Terrible game. Should have won that shit. Against Brighton, should have beat them. 2-0, 2-1, whatever. Still like a 2-0 loss anyway. Should have won. Top four's done. Top four's finished now. Ugh. Now it's up to Tottenham to see if they win tonight. If they don't win, we're still in it, but fucking over. 2-1 to Brighton. It's ridiculous.
AFTV Dario here. Mikel Arteta, you are the manager. Why can't you manage Tavares in such a way that he will be able to... We're at home against Brighton and you're having to play Xhaka at left back. It doesn't work out, then you tell them to switch. You tell Xhaka to go to the midfield, and then, what's his name? Sambi is playing left back. How does that make any sense when you have an actual left back? Why did we spend so much money on getting a left back? And why are we playing sideways football, slow football? Where's the football we've seen for the past 7, 8, 9 games? Where's that football? It doesn't make any sense. We're supposed to be on the front foot at home. It's basic stuff. You are home. We're supposed to be a top team. Do you know what Arsenal is? The days of Henry and Co. Do you know how good Arsenal used to be? You just come here and make us a bad team. What is your problem? What is your problem? And I'm just going to say this to wrap up. To all the fans that say AFTV is negative, no, AFTV is not a negative channel. AFTV is a realistic channel. AFTV is all about facts. Big up Turkish, big up Shah, big up everyone. AFTV is all about realism. Peace out.
Yeah, I mean, the collective thoughts I agree with. Top four hanging by a thread if not done. The use of Granit Xhaka at left back. But if you just kind of like, let's start with the starting 11. Let's talk about the starting 11. If you like strip it all down, and you look, just forget kind of numbers and roles and all that. And I know I love to talk about all that. I know I do. But if you look at 11 positions on the pitch, Ramsdale's our first choice. Cool. Gabriel, White are our first choice. We don't have our first choice right back. Cedric plays. Now, he played through part of the good run as well. But Tomiyasu is our best right back and our first choice right back. We don't have him, so that's one position. Then we don't have our left back, so that's a second position. Then we don't have Thomas Partey. It would be Kieran Tierney, sorry. We don't have Kieran Tierney. It's a second position. We then don't have Thomas Partey, our main holding midfielder. Pretty much our best stuff goes through him. Cool. That's the third position we've lost. So then you've got Odegaard and Xhaka either side, and then you've got front three, of which it can be whatever you want. Now, he's taken Granit Xhaka out of that left central midfield role to put him at left back. So that's now a fourth position where we don't have our best player for that position or that role, or at least the player who understands it best. And then this is me maybe kind of forcing the issue in the narrative a little bit too much, but then you look at the front three, and I think Lacazette's been in appalling form. Smith Rowe scored a lot this season. Martinelli's been in great form, and Bukayo Saka. Someone's saying excuses. Sorry, I'm not making excuses. I'm putting this on Arteta. And then you got Bukayo Saka on the right wing, and Lacazette's been appalling. So I think you could say there's a fifth position there where we've not had our best player for that role, and it just strikes me so much that Arteta thought not to stick with Tavares, who was good at home to Newcastle when he had to fill in, who was good at home to Watford when he needed to fill in, who was good away at Leicester when he needed to fill in, who was good at home to Villa when he needed to fill in. You know, we've seen Tavares can perform at basically the level that would have been required today, and he didn't go with him. He decided to weaken us in another position. And it staggers me that is the decision Arteta went with today. I'm so disappointed with Arteta, because I think he did turn a corner after Everton when he went on that mini run, and I think he also turned a corner after January, where he stuck with his kind of core 14, 15 players that he wants to see playing every week, and they responded for him. But at some points, what's the term? The chickens will come home to roost or whatever. The point is, you can't go into a whole second half of the season that depleted when you've got so much inexperience to rely on. So you can look a lot at Mikel Arteta for today. I'm sorry. I'll go on to what I think about his kind of long-term future of the club. But in terms of today, I think you can look at him. People saying Spurs are 1-0 up already. Yeah, and that's game done, because Villa will now chase the game. They'll try open Spurs up. They won't. Spurs will come the other end and they'll counter, and that 1-0 will probably become 3 or 4. So, yeah, Tottenham will have a 3-point advantage, and the game in hand won't be enough to overtake them anyway, because the goal difference has been damaged. So, the advantage we had this time a week ago, well and truly gone. So, a really, really, really bad 7 days for Arsenal. Let's see what some comments are saying. Vibes are saying, come on, Emi. I'm assuming he's hoping for Emi Martinez to do something today, but he's already conceded a goal. Not saying it's his fault, I haven't seen it. What else have we got? Forsberg said, we didn't lose because Xhaka played left back. We lost because he wasn't in midfield with Odegaard. Forsberg, I completely and utterly agree. Ruben says, James, enough with the excuses. Send in another comment. I'll read it out. Let me know where the excuse was. Antas, why does Arteta hate Pepe? I've got no idea why he's not giving Pepe more game time, though I will say Pepe should have come on earlier, and I thought Nketiah, while not performing at the level we want to see from our players, was a lot better than a lot of the players that were out there when he came on. I thought anyway. Richard says, January window, Arteta was arrogant, amateur, piss off the lot of them. Okay. Jamie says, what was it? Oh, sorry, wrong quote. We've got some more clips coming in, guys. Just trying to read some final comments. James, this will be 3 seasons out the Champions League under this manager. Emery was sacked for a lot less. You know what? There's some truth to that. Some. Let's hear what the rest of the clips are saying. I'm going to get some guests on and we're going to dissect this a little bit more.
Absolute joke. I don't know why Lacazette played the game from the start. Eddie's looked lively the last couple of games, looked lively again today. I don't really like Eddie, but definitely should be playing instead of Lacazette. Pepe coming on at 70th minute was an absolute... It's just a piss take, really. Yeah, top 4 done, season done. where do we go from here? To be honest, like Arteta's had it'll be 3 years coming up, and yeah, still not finishing in the top four. How are we going to attract the players that we want to get in the top four? That's really the big dilemma. But yeah, I say this result and the last result has to lay on the manager. But yeah, damaging defeat.
Hi guys. I don't know if you remember, I sent a video after the first match and I said it's either relegation or we win the league. It's just funny how most Arsenal fans think the rot is obvious for everyone to see. And I don't know. I know, yeah, we all hope that things will change. And I know the hope is what kills. But in all honesty, Arteta is not the right man. It's obvious. I don't know why people don't see it. And yes, Kroenke needs to go. But people should just stop fooling themselves. Arsenal is going nowhere this season. Cheers, guys. Bye.
What can I say about that? Going into that game, I just knew Brighton were going to have us. You just get a feeling with this Arsenal team. I have done for years. But my God, they just bossed us. They outdrilled us. They let us have all the possession, which is unlike Brighton, but they did. And we just could not break them down. This Potter guy, I think he's related to another Potter because he's got some magic against us, I'm telling you. He makes us look so average every time. We've scraped through against Brighton in the past. And today was just another one of those days. No answer. We got super lucky with our goal at the end, little consolation. And yeah, on to the next one. Arsenal for top 6?
Arsenal for top 6. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. We'll talk a bit more about the game. Got LV. How you doing, man?
You say, man. Sorry about that. I was all just...
No, we're all feeling it.
I'm normally more lively with you, but
No,
I just felt
no.
like I was just leaving you in the mist.
No, don't worry about it. Arteta has just said, I don't have the full quotes here. There might have been others questions he was asked. Other
That he's
contexts,
leaving the
whatever.
squad, yeah?
Imagine that. No, he says, asked about the performance, he said, we were looking at each other too many times instead of taking ownership and doing what we have to do. You cannot play like that. Now, I've got a question, LB. I don't know if this was asked in the press conference. I'll have a little look for other quotes. I don't know. But just forgetting what he says or whatever, do you think he's a manager that will look at himself today and go, I got this wrong? Or at least ask himself that question? Because we were all talking about the left-back situation. We were all talking about how he rejigs the team. At one point, people were sitting there going, is that Xhaka in midfield and Lokonga at left-back? You know, us as fans, we're frustrated because we feel like, yes, we lost, but we could have done so much more to help ourselves. Do you think he's looking at himself in the same way, maybe?
No, I don't. I feel like he's put his friend on, Xhaka, in the position what he knew he could do a job there. But for us, we know that ain't the job he does. He's played Lokonga because no Partey, obviously. But Lokonga, I can't pressure, man. You ain't got experience. You ain't been on the pitch enough to play with the big boys. Do you get me? Or even Partey to learn certain things. Do you know what I'm saying? Like bigger teams do that. They play youngsters with the olders so they can gel and learn a few things. He needs learning to do. Like he had a few shots here and there, but lost the ball a lot more. Do you know what I mean? Out of position, doing too much touches, stuff like that. So he needs experience. He ain't got that. I feel like the whole of Arsenal, they're too young to even be trying to shoot for top 4 now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we can see now that the kids are coming out. Do you know what I'm saying? We can tell now they are children. Do you know what I mean? We started to realise like these guys ain't ready for that side of the waters, yeah? Because we got Chelsea in there. We might even get Tottenham running up in there because I'm airing Tottenham are 1-0 up now. And we've got freaking Man United trying to squeeze. I don't think they'll make it. Do you know what I mean? But Man City, Liverpool, the same names what you would normally hear are in there. Do you know what I mean? We're not ready, yeah? Another season goes by again. are struggling to try and make the spot. Do you get me? Against Brighton today, for me, it was the whole team was a shambles, blood. Do you get me? That it was a shams. Arteta, for me, has to go now.
Really?
Has to go now, yeah, because we're not going to see the end of the season out, bro. What? Who have we got? Tottenham to play, Chelsea to play, West Ham to play, United to play, Everton last game. So now you told me we're going to win all these games, all these big games to me. We're going to do those ones over. No, we're not. I'll be real with you. The performance we're playing at now, it's long. We'll be lucky to even get a draw at Southampton when we go there. Do you get me?
If Arteta had started, let's say he started this process and Project Youth or whatever earlier on. Let's say he wasn't 2.5 years into the job. He was actually 6 months into the job. Do you think we'd feel differently about it?
Of course, 100%.
Do you think we'd be looking at this going,
we'll give it time.
Fair players, young players, you lost some key men, you're learning, it went wrong. Does it just feel like whether it's going to take time or not, ultimately you can't rush these young players and their development, but is there a point at which there's the Arteta and the youth project, but then there's the general standards of Arsenal, at which you go, there's a certain level we can't drop below. Now, I'm aware that whilst we're all sitting here saying and feeling like the top 4 race is over, and I completely understand why, especially with Spurs currently winning, there is, and we still got to find out how the season ends. There is a certain level that we got to just go, we can't deal with anymore. Yeah,
it is, and I've realised now, like out of everyone on the whole AFTV, I've probably been the most positive in sense of saying Arsenal's going to win it, they're going to be the I'm trying to inject a next level of excitement and positivity into the squad, and everyone's saying I'm deluded, he's a clown, what's he on about? And it's all been that. But now I'm going to jump on your lot's bagwagon and start saying, I was deluded, I was mad.
But I think a lot of us were with you,
Because I don't know why I've sat here all this time trying to be positive, trying to be that guy who says my team's going to do this, they're going to do that, and everyone's like, oh, you're deluded, oh, you're some joker. Now it's all starting to happen and unfold. I'm just saying, you know what, enough's enough. Let me just put all the jokes aside. It is what it is. If reality is reality, we're not winning top 4. We're not going to get there. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not going to be the ones to be in the end of it because we ain't got enough players on the pitch. What's our bench like? Can't even put on certain players. Now you're playing West Ham, they got change up. Man United, change up. Chelsea, change up. Tottenham, change up. We ain't got no players we can bring on to say, they're going to do something.
Whose fault was that? Because
that's Arteta. Back to the manager, isn't it? It has to be. When January was there, when I was screaming, we need a striker, we need a CDM, and we need a defender. We didn't get nothing, bro. Nothing. No one came in. So now we're facing the penalties. We can't play kids throughout the whole season. Yes, they've shocked us. Yes, they've done well, better than what we expected. Well done. But top 4 is what we wanted, and we want to see. We want to hear Champions League, bro. I don't want to be sitting here next season talking about Europa. We had one game a season, like one game a week, to play. We weren't under pressure this season. This was meant to be top 4. Right now, the fixtures we have left, the players what are out of the team, it's not happening, bro. Let's just be real, innit? Unless we think mathematically, not saying they can't lose their games, because Everton beat Man United today. So something could happen. But right now, the way it's looking to me, who's got the best fixtures is Tottenham, and they're looking to take that run all the way to the full spot.
You know what's funny is it's not over, and the reason it's not over is because literally a week ago, people would have said Arsenal, they might get a draw at Palace. They could lose, but they probably get a draw or a win. We lost. And then I'll say, okay, well, they definitely beat Brighton then. We lost. We got a couple key injuries that people weren't expecting after the international break. So it's never over because Spurs is had 3 and 4 games. They lost at home to Southampton, Wolves. Southampton lost 6-0 today, I think. It can happen. It can turn around. It can swing. It can be,
Our hope's in other people's hands, though, James.
That's exactly it.
And I don't like that.
We're not doing it for ourselves.
That feeling, that knowing that it's in your hands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? The hope needs to be within our hands.
But I think the wider point, because someone said here, because James, you are a dreamer. Listen, the point isn't me trying to sit here and go, listen, everyone, it can still happen. Yeah. Have faith.
Well, that's what I would have been on.
It's over. Sure, but that's not what I'm trying to say to people. I'm actually trying to make a more negative point, which is like, what am I trying to say? when I look at the team, the football, like today's performance was so lacking in any character. Yes, we had injuries. Yes, we had players missing. But what I saw from Arteta today was him just making the wrong decisions despite the things that have gone against him.
Yeah.
Like, there's a point at which, I know it's all opinion, like what 11 you should play or whatever, but if he'd gone for the 11 that most of us genuinely all talking about...
Which would have been Tavares left back.
Which would have been Tavares keeping his place, probably removing Lacazette and going Martinelli or Smith right up front, and just mixing it up and adding some dynamism in that position. I think a lot of us, like... Well, we might not have lost, but there's an element to which you're going, that's really disappointing, Arsenal really poor, what did the players get wrong? But so much of it today is just looking at, like, Arteta not necessarily giving us the best chance. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
that's how I feel. Maybe I'm wrong,
the options he picked, he picked the wrong ones. Yeah,
that's what I think.
Because if you've got a left back there and we're trying to fit someone in that position, why are you not playing him, bro? What's wrong with Tavares? Is he injured? Is he sick? No. So play him. Why are you there breaking man's confidence all the time? Like, I feel like he just don't care, fam. I feel like if you don't do the job he wants, you're off. Let me try this game, or let's give him another. Like, we're building. Remember, at the end of the day, these are youngsters, blood. They're gonna make mistakes. Like, deep it. Starting the season, you never ever would have put it down that we're gonna be where we are now.
But this is what's crazy, right? Arteta's shown a different side to him early in the season where Tavares is in good form, Tierney's fit and ready to go. We go to Anfield and he sticks with Tavares. So clearly he thinks there's a player there and he thought his form was worth sticking by. Cool. So he keeps Tavares in, which, by the way, a lot of fans would have said, yeah, brilliant, but get Tierney in. He doesn't. Tavares makes a mistake in that game, although I thought he played okay.
Comes off early.
No, actually, no. He stayed on in the Liverpool game, but when we then play Newcastle in the next game at home, he sticks with Tavares. Okay. So I'm looking at him, I'm going, so you've actually shown faith in this guy before. You've shown us that you think there's a player there, and you stood by him. So why didn't you for this game? And you've weakened us in another position by taking Xhaka out. I find it all really, really, really strange. Like, his thought process and the way he deals with certain players, their performances don't really add up to me. No. Yeah, and Lacazette has been poor.
Do you think he upsets the players in a way where, like, obviously if he falls out with someone in the squad, he kind of just makes it clear and that's the end of it, like, because he's made it clear he don't want to play Tavares. Like, you was desperate for a left back today.
He signed him though.
He was desperate for a left back. He didn't put him on. So you're showing that he's not ready. You're letting everyone else know that he's not my player, bro. He's not ready. Sorry. And that's it, because you would have put him on. You have to put him on. Deep it. You have to put. It's not. You have to put him on, because right now that's where they were always just cleaning up. They'll run through that side like nothing. We was playing different players there. Martinelli, Lokonga. I'm all seeing Xhaka there one now and then. Like, it's a shambles, bro.
Yeah. Got some more clips coming in, guys. I'm reading the comments. I appreciate that. I'm like, maybe not making a lot of sense, but this is a genuinely kind of baffling result. Like,
it is.
And I thought some of the decisions Arteta made were baffling, so I'm trying to make sense of them, but it's really hard because I don't understand why he did them. Like, as in, I understand the theory, but I thought better of him. I didn't think he'd get these wrong. I think he's got some really bad ones wrong today.
I felt like you're looking at the spotlight. All right, cool. We've got all these games left. Today is one of the easiest matches we could have played, considering their form shit. Yeah, and we ain't on the greatest.
And they got nothing to play for.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's nothing dead there, and ain't no goals there. So why don't you just go full force and just play everyone in the right position, but go full force as in attack? I want 3 in the back, 5 in the middle. Ram it out. Move to man. Get on their case. But what did they do? No, they just run it how they wanted to run it, how he always runs it. His formation, his setup. Always put faith in Xhaka, your best friend. Yeah, play him in where he wants to play. He could have been injured last week and still got in the game. That's how he runs it. Arteta's got so much faith in his mate. It's like, it don't matter if he makes a mistake. It don't matter if he plays there or plays here. It's more of a friendship thing going on in this, and it's annoying me to the point where I'm like, bro, what is this manager doing? Like, Crystal Palace, Vieira, I didn't even get a chance to even speak about that to no one because we've lost this one now, so I can't even backdate nothing. But you see, man like that, who's just come. I don't look at Arteta as a big manager, you know. Big man ting. I do not look at him as a manager like that. But you see Vieira, he's new to the ting. But look at the respect he has. The respect level, blood. And I think even knowing how to put players in position, he's already got the keys to it. Like, man's not making mistakes like that. Man's beating big teams. Teams what we want to beat. Them man are cleaning up with Crystal Palace, rude boy. We can't do that. And we got better players. Bigger squad. It don't mean nothing, bro. Do you get me? It comes down to how the manager puts the team out and what he does with the team, bro. And right now, for me, yeah, he's not the guy, blood. He's never been the guy. Yeah, be real, recognize rule. He's never been the guy. You really think, what, next year, thereafter that, he's the type of manager who's going to make these youngsters go to the next level? Without the management's experience, what you're meant to have as a manager. He hasn't got that. He's learning it at Arsenal, bro. He's learning it at our team. That's a myth. We need to go and get a big manager who knows what he's doing with these youngsters for next season. Or them youngsters are going to go. And I'll be real with you. They will go. We will lose Saka. We will lose Smith Rowe. We will lose Martinelli. We will lose all our big ballers. And then Arsenal will become at Everton. And then what? What's what we doing then? Sitting back watching games just for the sake of it. Hoping for a win. Hey! Nah, bro. We need to make it happen now. We need to do something now. We need to be thinking about, all right, Arteta's out. Who's the manager we're looking at for next season? We need to be seeing who we can get. Chat to Vieira. Why not? He's got so much respect in Arsenal. I'm sure of it. The fans, the players, everyone will be behind that type of man. Because the authority, the work he's put in, his career alone. And then to come in, he knows football. He knows the game. You get me, blood? Big players like that, that's what we need in Arsenal. Not saying he's the new manager, he's the biggest manager out there. No, but for what we need now to kind of fix certain things, I feel like he knows a little bit more than Arteta would know, for me. The way he cleaned us up the other day, and then he come to our ground and got a draw, he proved it to me already that you're a better manager than this Don. Do you get me?
Look, personally, today isn't a discussion about the manager.
Okay.
But there's a lot of people who haven't believed in Arteta, and days like today are the reason why. And there's been plenty in the last 2.5 years that
let me ask you a question then, James. Sorry to cut you. So do you think, like hand on heart, that this is the manager what's going to make these kids grow like to the next level? They're going to go win cups and big games and big, like, be in Champions League and be the new big thing. Do you think Arteta can get them to that level? And that's just me being straight down the middle with you, like, yes or no.
For quite a few months of this season, it looked like he was the guy who was doing that. Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, they were looking better players under him. So you think that was because of him, or do you think that's because they've had to show up because of what's going on? I think they're super talented players. That's a good question. I don't know. I actually don't know the answer. It might sound like I'm trying to make excuses for Arteta,
that's fine.
But I don't know. I don't think... There was a point where Odegaard was playing really well against really good sides.
They are actually excellent players.
He reinvented... I know Partey's not young, but he kind of reinvented Partey's position to a point where now we're saying not having Partey as our central defensive midfielder is the reason why we're not playing so well. Well, there was a long time where people were saying Partey's not even a defensive midfielder. Yeah. So I think Arteta's done some good with these players, and he has won a trophy at Arsenal. But yeah, I don't know. I think the discussion around manager is premature. Personally, it won't be for some. For a lot of people, it will be hindsight, and it will be I've been telling you this for ages. This guy's not ready, and that's cool. And then they might be right, but I just don't think today
is the thing to talk about. Yeah?
I think today it's about talking about this game in particular. And where he got things wrong tactically. In terms of the job he's doing at Arsenal, I think we could do a whole show on it. But we've got some clips in. I believe we're going to get Shords in next as well, get his thoughts. But LV, thanks for joining, man. Got your videos. Keep sending them in, guys. Let's hear what we got to say.
Hey, AFTV. Javin here from St. Kitts, all the way down here in the Caribbean. To be honest, I have so much to say with so many little time, because I know these videos can't be long. I see now the super chats about being negative, but I mean, they just don't understand, and I don't think they will ever understand. It's not about being negative, but it's just that we expect better. But with that being said, I'm gonna close it off with this. I think it's about time the board we evaluate, everything, and Arteta has battled it again. He has battled it again, and I think it's about time we start looking at Vieira. At this point, I'll even consider Henry, but yeah, this is not good enough. From the moment I saw the starting lineup as a Xhaka at left back, he's not being played in midfield alongside Sambila Congo to coach him in there and support him in there. Then I said, okay, this is not going on. This is not going to end well.
Hello guys, it's Abdul from Nigeria. Today's game didn't go as planned. A game that we expected to bounce back from our last defeat. Arteta cost us the game. Unfortunately, at the same time, we don't have the experience to handle such pressure. You know, our young kids have done as well as they can, and even our manager doesn't have the experience. So what do you expect? I just hope that we can get proper Europe, at least, you know, Europa League instead, you know. That way we can build from there and get where we want to be in the next few years. Thank you.
What's up guys, Javi from the US here. You know, my hopes for top four were killed the second I saw Tierney was out. And then whatever little hope I had, Partey killed it. Because I'm not an idiot. And I understand that we have been overachieving with what is at best a mediocre 11. And when you take away two key players from that starting lineup, that's it. We're back to being a mid-table club. And you do not go from being a mid-table team to being a Champions League football club after just a mere £150 million investment, especially when the club has been in a downwards spiral for the past years. Like, it just doesn't happen. And that's why Turkish is spot on. He's spot on. Okay? And you know what? This is all you need to know. It takes Tottenham and Man United being at their worst and us being at our best to be in a top four battle. That tells you everything. That tells you the lack of real quality that we have. And so you can get on the manager, you can get on this, you can get at that. The reality is, guys, we've been overachieving and we're not good enough. We are not good enough. Get that through your head. It's going to take 2, maybe even 3 transfer windows like the ones we had last year to actually have a proper squad to compete on all fronts. On all fronts.
What can I say again? Pump 2-1 at home after getting pumped 3-0 at Selhurst Park. Now, boy, what can I say? That's 5 goals now in 2 games and no goals scored. And we won Champions League. Everyone's screaming Arteta in, Arteta in. Please, somebody explain to me why we're going to keep this guy in. I don't even want to see him next season now. That is it. Even if we get Champions League, I don't want him to be there during the group stages and we're getting pumped. Get somebody else in if we get Champions League and get this guy out. You understand? I love him, but I love my club. And I'm pumping money into my club. I go to every home game. But you know, today, I said to myself as well, I'm not going to go to the game. Because I know the pattern. When we get pumped, we're going to draw or lose. And what happened? I was right. Wasn't even disappointed when I saw. But now everybody was expecting to win there. And we probably could get away with a draw with Man United coming up. Now we've lost 2 on a bounce. So what? What's everyone going to be happy with a draw? When we play Man United and we draw with them at home. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Shorts, how you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. Not too bad. Not too bad. And yourself?
Yeah, LV and I had a more kind of wider discussion on Arteta and just, I'll be honest, it was just, I think, a lot of frustration being poured out around the club generally. But I kind of I don't want to just gloss over today's game. Like, I really want to try and break down and discuss and understand what went wrong. What did you, be completely honest, what did you want to see in terms of the starting 11 today?
Xhaka not there. That's it.
What, not left back?
No, Tavares. If like, I get Tavares has had his blips, but we're in this predicament what we're in now due to what I've sat here and said to you before, James. We said it in January. Business wasn't done as it should have been done in January, I feel. We needed a top striker. We needed a central midfielder and we needed some depth in our bench. And I don't think that took place properly in January, and I think that's what's led to today.
Why didn't he play, Tavares?
I couldn't tell you why he didn't play. Maybe I get it, innit? Because obviously Tavares is very good at moving forward, obviously getting a cross in, maybe getting past a player. but it's him defensively maybe kind of lax. And to be honest, bro, I don't even think that that's his fault. I feel like a lot of our young players have a lot of pressure on their shoulders in which they shouldn't have if business was done properly. I feel like the pressure that's on our young players, we should be even bigging them up more, like, because our senior players are not leading that young philosophy what Arsenal have been trying to do for years. I've sat here and watched Arsenal do this for years and years and years, and why it hurts me so much, James, is this time, which hurts me more than probably even the rest of them, is because I had a bit of hope in this team. I seen that transfer in the summer where you know, my guys come in, Ramsdale, you get me, Tomiyasu, like players that I could look at and say, you know what, we're strengthening, we're working, this young formation, this young team, like it's building, and I could always appreciate it and look at that and just say, you know what, that's my Arsenal, innit, we're trying a thing. But looking at it today and seeing that just seeing that there's a lack of rotation in our squad as well, just to see the predicament what we're in, no striker, basically. Like, why is Martinelli not starting up front? Like, I know people will say, yeah, he started up front before, he wasn't that good. Bro, he's warmed in. You're expecting Pepe to come off the bench and do something at 70th minute. Bro, you ain't even warmed that brother in for a couple weeks. Like, he ain't done shit. Like, Pepe's been sitting there forever. So you expect what, Pepe to come on and make a big difference? Bro, Eddie Nketiah comes on at Palace, he's trying to shoot outside the box. When have you seen Lacazette shoot outside the box, bro? And this shit is kind of like getting to me now, man, because it's like, it's too much to take. We just see this, James, over and over and over again. And I feel like as fans, we need to stop being deluded. And I get why sometimes we can get like that, because we're looking at a young team and we can see the progress and we can see, oh shit, this is like maybe a trust the process and see what Arteta can do.
Yeah, but also there was a point at which Arsenal were playing good football. I was at Villa.
Yeah, of course.
And some of the ball retention, some of the knocking it about, like some of the just the way Arsenal played and progressed through the team. Like, Arsenal looked seriously impressive by the standards that,
of course, I think we overachieved. I think we kind of overachieved, if I'm honest. I feel
but now it looks that way.
Yeah, because I feel like where we got into that form and it was so good and it was like, shit, Arsenal's here and it's back. Like, I feel like fans have kind of not realised the position what our club's actually in. Like, we're still in a transition stage, bro. We ain't got a striker. We need 2 strikers and a central midfielder. And look at it. I was saying to Turkish in a fan cam, it's like, bro, we was in a global pandemic. We're one COVID case or one injury away from a player missing a crucial game for us, bro. And if that's the case, why am I looking at my bench and not seeing nothing that can come on and make a difference?
Dev sent a super chat, says, crazy how reactionary people are. We had 2 massive injuries. Obviously there'll be repercussions, especially the Partey. I'm proud of the youngsters, especially the way we play.
Yeah, no, 100.
Arteta's a top manager.
100.
Let's talk about the youngsters, because I think it's fair to say across the board they weren't good today. Saka was poor, Smith Rowe was poor, Odegaard was poor. Lokonga, I thought, was I thought everyone kind of got on him and kind of scapegoated him. I thought he was okay.
No, Lokonga was decent today.
And Martinelli did kind of most
Martinelli
of our best stuff.
Did Martinelli?
But the reason I'm kind of not digging them out like that, but just saying how it is that they were poor, because we could talk about
it was a poor performance, definitely.
The reason I'm doing it is almost to say, like, but I'm not mad at them.
No.
Like, I'm not putting it on them, because Son and Kane, who are currently as things stand firing Spurs to top 4, have been doing this for years. They know what's required. They've been to a Champions League final. Yes, Arsenal fans love their nice trophy. No trophies though. Yeah, of course. Brilliant.
But they're
love
building.
It. Banter, brilliant. Spurs have no trophies. That's fantastic. We all love to see it. And that's
fun though. I can't lie, it is fun though. That's just put another smile on my face after all this shit where you ain't got nothing.
It's funny and we all enjoy it. But you got to be real. They got players who are world class in the final third, world class finishers, 100%. And know what to do and won't be phased.
And they done their business, James, in January.
Yeah, and they've done their business in January. So again, with players who've been there and done it, in Kulusevski and Bentancur, though they're quite young. So my question is today on the youngsters and on Monday night starting to feel the pressure, not the youngsters, the team, the general team, but obviously it's made up of a lot of youngsters.
Of course.
Even though our best stuff still comes from Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, or is it on Arteta and tactically how he set up today? Because for everything I've just said, I still think it's more on Arteta. I think if Arteta had made a few tweaks to the 11 and gone with what most people said he should have gone with, I think those youngsters still would have thrived and performed today. I think they were hurt by Arteta's management.
Yeah,
Personally.
do you know what it is? I respect Arteta as a man, but I just don't understand some of the decisions what he makes.
Which ones in particular?
Even just like that Xhaka one today, perfect example.
Xhaka
like,
left back.
He's not meant to be left back, bro. We struggle to even look at Xhaka defensively anyway, and are confused at some of the decisions what he makes and some of the tackles what he's trying to get to. Like we're constantly on him for these things, but yet you put him back there. Like, for example, in the Palace game, start Martinelli up front. Like, why is there no rotation? I was screaming a couple months ago, flipping start Pepe up front. Like, give us just something different, a different dynamic.
But do we do that as fans? Do we? Who was it? Someone said it. What was it? Someone made a great point. I can't remember. As a fan of another side on YouTube, was saying that we do this thing as fans where we see something go wrong, so we think the other option must be better just because we've not seen them.
No, not even a case of because we haven't seen them, Jim, just because a case of we're watching them week in, week out and know what they're capable of doing. We know what he's from Brazil, brother. He's from Brazil, bro. I know what he's on. I know my players that have a little flair, a little finesse. I know Saka, Martinelli. I know even when Eddie jumps off that sub sometimes he's on some shit. I can see it, the hunger and drive in them. So I need a change. I just need something. And the change what was made today cost us the game. And I don't think it was the right one.
Dev says, he's come back with another stream that says, if Tavares drops a stinker, people will criticise either way. Xhaka again getting scapegoated. A fan base waiting for failure to say, told you so. Yeah, but Dev, I think what we're saying about Xhaka playing left back isn't to scapegoat him.
We're not scapegoating him.
If
No,
anything, it's praise. It's us saying
that he believes in him that much that he can flip and even do that.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, that's one thing, but I was going to say it's praise because we're saying he's too important to take out the midfield.
Of course, and that, yeah, of course, because he's not meant to be. Yeah, that's his position. Like, he needs to play his position.
This is what winds me up, is that you know Arteta, fair play to him, has got me a Xhaka critic to a point where I am thinking actually you can't take him out of the midfield, and he did, and we suffered for it in my opinion, and I think the youngsters around him suffered. That's why I asked the question.
Oh yeah, and to answer your question in the sense of like, what were you saying, James, about the young people and the young players?
Listen, Arsenal have just gone from 5 away wins in a row, right? Beating Watford comfortably, although it was by a goal. You know, going to Villa playing well, beating Leicester like it was nothing, giving Liverpool a really good game. You know, putting a really good, like, respectable run together to a point where people are going, oh shit, Arsenal and Arteta have clicked. The project is going in the right direction. I get it. Like, couple players and they're going to get there. To suddenly losing 3-0 at Palace and 2-1 at home to Brighton, that is a massive drop. That is a massive drop. So my question is that it was one of two things. Arteta not being good enough as a manager, the young players as a team, I'm not saying the specifics, but as a young team not coping with the pressure, all the players that we've lost through injury just being that important. So I said two things, so three things. But I don't see how you miss one left back and a central midfielder, because people talk about Tomiyasu, but Cedric's filled in and done fine, and he's been part of that good run. How do we drop off that much with two players out?
It just goes to show, innit, James? That's the thing. Like, it actually goes to show the whole dynamic of the team changes. I think all in all that it just boils down to just man management and decision making from Arteta. I feel like that's what it boils down to. And obviously, of course,
I think it's more. I think this week reflects more on Arteta than the players.
100%, and it just goes to show that little one international break and the injuries, what's happened, it's changed our whole hope, our whole desires. It's just crushed our dreams for top 4, and it's sad because, like I said, if we done a bit of business in January, we maybe not be in the same position right now. We would have been a bit more confident going into these games. Even if we had a little blip in Palace, we would have been more confident going into Brighton. James, we are at home in the Emirates against Brighton, my brother, and we're losing 2-1, and there's a top 4 up for grabs.
It worries me that whenever Arteta's not had his perfect team out,
it just crumbles a bit.
The levels drop
drastically from two players, James.
Much.
2 players, bro.
So much, and then you
get KT. Do you see how why we was all saying we wanted KT as a captain? Look now, bro. Look,
and then you get those players back, and suddenly we look a different side. But that is not what being a manager is about.
No,
like the easiest thing is.
I feel sorry for him, man.
It's sad. Here's the best team. This has been working, winning. Go out and do it. You know, these are the challenges. You lose a couple players, things go a little bit differently to.
But I think he should have took that into consideration, James.
I think he's adapted really poorly. But
I think he should have literally looked at that and knew, all right, the whole season we're not going to go without a player getting knocked. I know we look and say, yeah, it's drastically changed, but he should have known that, James. He should have known if a couple players go out. Like I said, we was in a pandemic. Anything could happen. He should know, look, let's get this ready up in January. Let's get the business done in January so we don't. My nan used to always tell me something, bro, and she was a very beautiful woman, very lovely woman. Prevention is better than cure, bro. Yeah? You was meant to prevent this shit from happening by going out in January and patterning up. That's it.
Do you know what? Those prevention is better than cure. Like
it's a Jamaican saying as well. That was from Nanny. You get it,
that kind of like
puts it into perspective. Well, where we're at a bit.
You know, when you hear something, you're like, yeah, that's it. Like that's exactly it. Like, and there's a reason. And we got a little bit of heat for it from some people who just love to talk football. It wasn't abuse or anything, but just people saying, you know, everyone who slagged off the January window, because a lot of us on AFTV did. I was one of them. Everyone who slagged off the transfer window, you know, you guys are warring for nothing, blah blah blah. But it wasn't about, you know, how we knew if Arsenal kept their best team out, then they had a good shot at this. The point was that we didn't feel we'd given ourselves the best chance in case adversity came. We've got Turkish in the building. We will get in for the final 5 minutes. You guys sent in clips. Let's hear a little bit more about what you guys are saying. Thank you very much.
No worries, James. No, bro.
Hi, AFTV. Bongisa here from South Africa. Another disappointing performance from Arsenal. But to say I'm surprised would be a lie, because this has been a long time coming. Because in January we knew that we needed a striker. And instead of strengthening, we released, Aubameyang, who has a couple of goals in him, and we stuck it out with Nketiah and Lacazette. And since the 10th of the year, Lacazette hasn't even scored a single goal. And today, he hasn't had even one shot on target. That is where our problem is. We knew that we were lean on the midfield because Partey is prone to injuries. And what did we do? We've got our midfielders, Torreira and Guendouzi, playing their best football while they're still on the books of Arsenal elsewhere in the world. We know that we have a defensive, situation where if one of our defenders gets injured, we would be in trouble. But yet we've got Saliba playing very well down in Marseille. All of these problems are down on Mikel Arteta, and he should, be taking the blame for our dip in performance, especially at this crucial time in the season. We're still within the fight, but it's disappointing that we've let our guard down.
Hey FTV, Ken here from Hong Kong. Look, about the game tonight, I think Arteta needs to really take his responsibility. With the last game, we all knew that the team needed to play at their strength, to be as stable as possible. We all knew it. Everybody was writing about it on internet and everywhere, And what he does, he changed Xhaka and he put him left back again, and he basically weakened the middle of the team, and our midfield didn't exist. I think it's a fault. I was never a fan of Arteta, but I thought that he learned with the good run he had. But today he showed that it's not true, that he still don't understand his team, and I frankly think that he should go. He's not good enough for this team.
Hey FTV, this is Varun from Sweden. Shocking result. Disappointed, yes, but that's nothing new. I mean, we Arsenal fans, we're pretty used to disappointment by now. It's the same story. It's the same story every single time. We are in a favorable position, which we should be taking advantage of, but we don't. We should have gone into the transfer window and gotten a world-class midfield player and a replacement for Aubameyang, and we don't do that. We take these unnecessary risks when we fully know that we have a fragile squad. Just want to bring to your notice that we've just missed 2 players from that starting 11 today. And this team looks completely unrecognizable from a few weeks ago. Top 4 is gone. Top 4 is absolutely for sure gone. There's no way we're getting points against the Chelseas and the Manchester Uniteds and the West Hams and the Spurs, the run-in, the fixtures that we have, just too much for this squad, if you ask me. The other question I have is, are we truly happy with this style of football, this brand of football? We keep insisting on playing from the back and playing this possession-heavy style of football where we pass the ball from left to right, right to left. It is so predictable. Every team is finding us out. The Brightons and the Crystal Palaces are finding us out. Forget the big teams. It's this arrogance, this insistence that the only way we can score a goal is if we can pass the ball into the net. Where are the long balls? Where are the through balls? Why can't we play a different style of football? I don't understand this. Anyways, big up AFTV.
Probably shouldn't say this. I literally sat here and I said to Turkish, I don't know what to ask you, mate.
Don't worry, I said on the Shaw's interview, I'm tired of doing these fan cams already, saying the same thing over and over again.
I'd like...
there's not much to talk about that we haven't talked about already, whether it was this month, last season. It's similar issues, not plugging the holes that are needed plugging.
Can I ask you something? Okay, I've thought of a question. Look at me, presenter of the month. I know anytime Arsenal lose, you always just look at what we should have done better, what should have gone differently, whatever. There are some games you lose and you go, but you know what, that just went against us. Or, you know what, there were signs of encouragement. There were things I like, whatever. Is part of the frustration today, because I'm trying to get to the heart of it, is part of the frustration today that I think 90% of the fan base, or at least whoever I spoke to, almost knew what we should have done about the problems we had. And Arteta went in the wildest direction. Like he did like a Guardiola in the Champions League quarterfinals against Lyon. When you're like, what is this? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, that kind of overthinking, trying to overcomplicate it. And while I understood why he wanted Xhaka left back, because he'll occupy the similar positions, blah, blah, blah. You know, at one point we see Xhaka in midfield, Lokonga at left back. Then we see Xhaka at left back picking up the ball in number 10 spots and Martinelli having to cover at left back. And you're sitting there going, what is going on? Then you bring on Nketiah. By the way, okay cameo compared to everyone else. But you've got Pepe, who's a £72 million player who has been able to put the ball in the top corner out of nowhere. Even when he's dropping a 1 out of 10 performance, he can do things. So it's part of the frustration that we're looking at Arteta and going, for all that's said and done about that performance, you didn't give us the best chance to win today.
Yeah. 100%. On one hand, we had a massive chance here that when we look at tactics, when we look at team selection, when we look at substitutions, a lot of it can come down to Mikel Arteta. Mm-hmm. But essentially, if we made top 4 this season, we would have overachieved. Not for Arsenal Football Club, mm-hmm. but for what they've given us off the pitch in the past few seasons. I know people will look back at last summer and say 150 million spent. That's all good and well, but you know, essentially January was another stopgap, another service station where you go and fill up again. We went to the service station and we emptied our tank, and then we went out on the road again, and we ran out of petrol. Yeah, that's what happened, and a lot of us fans knew that January wasn't a great month in terms of transfers. But you know, when Arteta in February comes out and says Edu done a fantastic job, I think the word was fantastic or amazing or great. Either one of those words cannot be attributed to January. But Arteta did say Edu's done a great job, yeah? Mm-hmm. Evidently not. Because it just doesn't make sense. You've gone into the season. Let's not forget, Maitland-Niles, towards the end of last summer, put on Instagram, you know, let me free or release me. Yeah, we didn't.
I just want to be somewhere where I'm wanted.
Yeah,
like that,
we didn't. We kept him on. Yeah, and some argument from fans was we're going to need the depth. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I guess them fans were right, but tell me why we failed to sell Maitland-Niles last summer, make some money, and potentially reinvest it, even though we spent 150 mil. I think if you sold Eddie and you sold Maitland-Niles last summer, you could have brought in one more player. One more player could have made a difference today. It could have made a difference against Palace. But January comes and you give Maitland-Niles away. Mm-hmm. What was the point in keeping him in the first place? Mm-hmm. Because surely the depth comes into play towards the latter end of the season, especially when your team's so young. You know, young players over history has shown that a 38-game season, you know, it's not for a young side. you're going to need depth. You're going to need the experienced players to stand up.
Yep.
And
you're going to need, and I said this with Shord, sorry. I said, if you look at Tottenham, sorry, and I know we hate them, but we've got to be real about the situation. They've not got, across a whole squad, better players than us. But they've got a manager who is trusting the players who have been there and done it in Son and Kane to deliver. And he's given them a foundation. And in the last month or two, you know, they've reaped the rewards of that. And they brought in a couple of players who... We saw they wanted Adama Traore. We saw they wanted Luis Diaz. They brought in Kulusevski. They brought in Bentancur. There was a degree of... I saw some Spurs fans going, I'm not sure about these guys. Have we just basically gone and got Juve's hand-me-downs? But there was something and they raised the level. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where our frustration is, where we're sitting there going, I understand it. I think it sounds nice to say, if he's not the right player, then then don't do it. And I've been guilty of buying into that. But there's also a degree of like, the semi-right player is genuinely better than nothing. And today we looked short. I looked at that bench and I was like, you think it's unfair on the kids who are on the pitch? The kids, they're there on the bench.
Yeah.
You know they're not coming on.
Yeah, so Tavares is probably looking at it like, what am I behind Xhaka and Lokonga and Martinelli now in that left-back position?
Yeah.
Because we saw all of them fill in.
Yeah, we did.
Lokonga, 22 years of age, we brought him in, to add depth. I guess he was Guendouzi's replacement. And when push comes to shove, business end of the season, it just didn't work out, especially that first half. Is it on Lokonga? No. Who knew who Lokonga was before Arsenal Football Club? Even though he came in with rave reviews from company, it is what it is. It just goes back to that, James. It goes back to that. I know Arteta has his faults, 100%. And I know today, it pretty much is on him because there's a few things he could have done and it's only Brighton and it's at home. And he failed. Mm-hmm. But essentially, whatever formation we went with today, whatever lineup we went with today, without a Kieran Tierney, without a Thomas Partey, or adequate backups, it was always going to be light. It was always going to be interesting, intriguing. In the end, it was none of those. It was just a collapse again. That's how I see today was a collapse.
Why did he look at, and it's a question I'm very excited to ask Graham in Tactical Insight, but why did he look at our position where we were lacking our first choice right back, first choice left back, and our first choice holding midfielder, and think to weaken it further by taking Xhaka out of it? Me and you are not Xhaka's biggest fans, but surely, even we can say we have been best when we have that midfielder of Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka. So if you're going to lose one, why go? And okay, we've lost a left back, but what is the solution? Okay, I'll make the area even worse.
Yeah.
Me and Jessica Black, we were talking about it. We said on Twitter, you don't take Xhaka out of that position.
You don't, but you did. James, I don't know what to say anymore. I actually don't know what to say. You saw me, you've seen me over the last few months. In terms of since I've been at AFTV, I joined up. It's probably a year I've been at AFTV now. I've joined up. These last few months have probably been the most optimistic you've seen me.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I haven't been the most optimistic fan, and it's going to take a lot for that to happen. But I saw something from this young side.
Yeah.
That's why January for me was so important, because going into the new year, when we found ourselves in top four, we had just beaten West Ham to get into that position, and West Ham were the one everyone was raving about. We deserved to be in the top four come this calendar year. But then January comes, and this is what this club does. It strips us of the depth, doesn't give us anything, and says go and work with it. And we trip up. We was always going to trip up over the back of that January. It was always going to happen. Even during that run, I said we need to build a buffer. We need to be 6 points ahead of Tottenham, 6 points ahead of United, at the very least, going into the Chelsea aways and the Man United and so on, West Ham away even. Because Tottenham's fixture list towards the end of the season was always easier on paper.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that. We still had some hope. Mm-hmm. International break comes and goes. Gone. 5 goals conceded. We've conceded the same amount of goals this season so far with 8 games left to play than we did the whole of last season. But at times, even me, has the defence really improved if we've conceded? Well, we're going to concede more this season. Mm-hmm. Has it improved? Can we say the defence has improved? Yes, some people will say clean sheets, but then some people will say, well, we conceded more.
I would say we play slightly more expansively this season.
It's aided our
therefore we're naturally going to get more comeback the other way, and they've dealt with it a bit better.
I guess it's improved in playing at the back, but it obviously hasn't improved in terms of leaking goals.
Oh man, I don't know.
That's a damning stat. I didn't know that. Dan said it in the interview with me. We've conceded the same amount now than we did all of last season, but at times we thought this defence has improved tenfold, and it's the reason why we're in top 4.
I don't know where to go. We've been live for an hour. Thank you for sending in your videos, guys. It's been good to hear what you guys think. I think this one is really hard to digest because it's a real shock to the system. I'll be honest, at times I like, you know, when you're live for an hour straight after a game, we do the fan cams, and sometimes you just sit there and you're thinking, like, you make a point, but then after you're like, actually, I don't know if it is that, because, like, we just lost at home to Brighton 2-1. Now, Brighton, I said on the Starting 11 show that, you know, Brighton, you know, they can cause problems. They're a good team. They've got some quality, but I didn't think we'd be that abject. I didn't think we'd be that far off. I didn't think we'd look that lackluster. I also didn't think Arteta would get it that wrong. I thought it's kind of one thing if he kind of keeps everyone in their positions, he goes with what he can, and then the players just don't deliver on the day, which I think to a degree is what happened at Palace. I didn't really put that on Arteta, but this one I really do. So that's the question for everyone, guys. Is this one on Mikel Arteta?
At Palace, we had moments in the second half where we look back on it and say, if Emil scored that, if Odegaard scored that, 2-1, it's a different game.
If the Saka penalty is given.
Yeah, whereas today... There's nothing we can... We didn't even deserve a goal.
No, we didn't. That. Massive deflection.
So there's nothing I can look at this game and say, well, if this happened, you know, it could have changed the outcome of the game. Not one moment in that game could have changed it, and that speaks volumes for the tactics.
Yeah, it does. We ended last season, Palace away, Brighton at home. I think were our last 2 games of the season, and we won them both. I think 3-1 and 2-0.
When we had nothing to play for.
Exactly the point I was going to make. We had nothing to play for. We won them comfortably. We played well.
This year, and the season before last,
when it mattered. Yeah,
because that was Emery last few games, Crystal Palace and Brighton.
I think it was the season before that, but
the season before, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah. Same fixtures, and we didn't step up. So, what does that say about pressure, guys? I don't know where to go with this. I'm going to digest it across Sunday. I'll be back on Monday to go through it from a tactical perspective, and then look at the numbers with Graham. I don't know if there's much more to add, man.
There isn't, man. Just call it a day. Seriously, call it a day. Because we're going to be saying the same thing over the next few weeks, James. This conversation doesn't end here. It continues next week against Chelsea. It continues against West Ham, Southampton and Man United. It's because we're not making top 4. So this is the conversations we're going to be having for the rest of this season, going into the summer, hoping yet again that this club build on the good they done last summer. Because they did do some good last summer. But it's all good and well doing good for one summer. If you don't build on it, you get left behind. Tottenham, and we'll end with this. Yeah, Tottenham this season sack the manager around November times to avoid Man United potentially going to sack theirs and getting Conte. And they was proactive. They done that. It didn't work out straight away. In fact, it hasn't worked out till recently. But what did they do in January? They also bought 2 players, and Tottenham fans were still upset. Why? Because they didn't get a fullback. But guess what Conte did? Doherty all of a sudden gets goals and assists. Emerson Royale all of a sudden, Tottenham fans ain't as dubious about him as they once was. No, he's not the answer, and yes, they want improvement. But what Conte's done is improve some of the players that he's had at his disposal. He's brought in a couple that have done a job, and from January to May, it's 5 months? Sometimes all you need is these players to do a job and get you over the line, especially in a race where no one really wants it. Arsenal, United, Tottenham, everyone's fucked up along the way since January. But guess what? The team that have moved the most proactively in the season out of Tottenham, Man United and Arsenal, that team is Tottenham. During the season, they've shown 2 signs of proactive ambition. Getting Conte in and then buying players in January. United did 1 by sacking Ole, but they doubled up with no manager. So that's where they've tripped up. Arsenal, I'm not saying Arteta should have been sacked this season, but what I'm saying is he put us in a position where in January, back the man. Yeah, if we had 70 to spend on Vlahovic, then spend it somewhere. Or guess what? If we had 70 to spend on Vlahovic, it's the same fiscal financial year, we could have spent that 70 in the summer. This is why I don't believe it, James. All of a sudden, we had 70 to spend in January. If we had that 70 to spend, why didn't you do it in the summer?
It's a good point.
To me, it's all an illusion. This club is lying. And I've given you examples that this club lies to fans. I've given you examples where I know some of the statements this club has made, some of the Q&As, some of the stories, they're based off of lies. So if they can do that with a Twitter Q&A or a story about Arsenal in the community, best believe they can do that with anything, because to them it's more about painting a picture to put in front of the camera where it's nice, a river, trees, you know, the sun is shining. Yeah. But behind that, fuck me, it's London during December, mate. Dark, dreary, rain, hailstones. But don't worry, we'll put the picture in front and you don't just focus on that picture. It's nice, isn't it?
Not much more we can add, guys. Arsenal really dropped one today. After Palace, I sent in my video, that nice 4 a.m. video from Thailand. Did you enjoy that? Sorry, I had to give some thoughts out there. But
listen, at the end of the day, that was the first, you know, the first big moment in the business end of the season. It's just a shame that we've doubled down in a week.
And you know, I said after that, the players looked so bad on the night that I was like, I can't even talk about Arteta because everyone just played so badly. And today, I can't help but look past some of the decisions that were made tactically. I think they left us in a real spot of bother today. Anyway, Arsenal lost 2-1 to Brighton at home. Top 4 hopes. I mean, everyone will say done. I can see you there.
Done. It was actually done in January. I was right after Burnley, but in between they filled Man with hope, and I thought it wasn't, and I was wrong.
That's on your thoughts, guys. Fan cam's coming out now. Not much more to add.